How do you take your partner as ally?
I will answer this question as my partner is my wife. I see the marriage as an embrace, not as a handshake. An embrace is something that is close, is something that is dear to you, something that is important to you. You don't go and hug a bus, right?
Oh, yes.
As necessary as the bus might be, you don't go and hug a bus. You don't hug, I don't know, a tree. Well, even though there's a movement to hug the trees, okay. Or, you know, but you hug your spouse as an important thing, as an ally, as someone you trust, as someone you love, and the affection is greater than a handshake. A handshake, keep in mind, you are at a distance, an arm distance, okay? So it's not something that is closer. It can be very strong, but it's not something that is intimate. It's not something that make you think about or care so much about. That distance maintains a different relationship. Whereas my wife, my partner, my support, I hug her.
Yes, nice.
Very nice.
Father Eugen, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
I would say no from the beginning. I would learn to say no without feeling guilty right from the start.
Wow.
No, nothing else. Everything else, I'm pleased with what I have accomplished. I'm pleased with what God gave me, and but learning to say no is an important thing, because you can set the rules and not the rules, the boundaries. Okay, I am important too. I am not your object that you can use me any way you want. So once you set those boundaries, saying no would be the one. Okay, then you can live your life to your own fulfillment, your own desire, to enjoy without being stressed out by doing something for someone else, something maybe you don't even like, but you think it's important because that person needs it so badly, you know.
Yes.
Well, there is another thing. If you cannot do it yourself, why engage in it, you know? So you can tell people that, but setting boundaries is very important. Setting boundaries, you know, how much people can make use of you or ask you for help, and how much help you really can offer. It's not how much you want to offer, how much you can offer. Because there's a time when you actually need to sit down and eat. There's a time when you need to sit down and drink, you know, enjoy a glass of wine. You don't have to do everything on drive-through, rush in the car, driving with one hand and eating or drinking with the other. You can actually sit down and relax and enjoy your life. Give thanks for what you have on that day. You know, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. You know, learn to set boundaries from the beginning, and don't be afraid to say no.
Very important idea. Wow.
Yes. How do you push through your worst times?
You know, one of the questions that people ask is, why me? You know, and I've heard that so many times in the hospital. I'm a good Christian. I go to church. I raise my family. I do this. I do that. Why me? Why do I have to get this? Well, that's a good reason, because sometimes we find the answer in our own explanation to why me. You know, with someone who does all of these things and doesn't take care of himself, and then you don't have to ask why me. Because when you had your chance to sit down and enjoy your blessings, you looked for something else to do instead of just, God gave you that little time to enjoy your family. No, you abandoned the family because you wanted to have another job somewhere else, to work another 5 or 6 hours to make more money, become rich, and or did something, my neighbor needs to have the grass cut, so I'm going to help my neighbor. No, if the neighbor doesn't have, just let it there. Spend time with your family. Enjoy your own life. It's, I once I walked in the room of one patient, and she was doing work. I mean, she had a very severe condition, but she was still doing work on her laptop. So I started my conversation with her in a very unorthodox way. Isn't it great that you can actually have access to internet in a hospital room? She looked at me a little, yeah, it's a good thing. I said, and isn't that great that the hospital offers rooms to become your office for extended work? She looks at me, she said, what are you talking about? I said, why are you here? Well, I'm here because I have this, I had this complication, and she has been through a procedure where it was, she could die from what she had.
Wow.
But because the doctors took care of her, before things got worse, she thought, well, I have to finish my work. She had a pile of things, things that were to be done and things that were done and put on the side and answering this. And she had the phone there calling people. I said, turn off everything, close your laptop, and let's have a talk. Why are you here? Well, I'm here because. And what are you doing? I said, why can this work for someone else? Let's say you were brought here because you had a very severe condition. If you were dead yesterday when you were brought in the hospital, who would take care of the work that you're doing now?
Yes.
Somebody else. Then let somebody else take care of that work while you're getting better, while you're healing. You see, we're not giving us credit for who we are. We're only giving ourselves credit for what we are. And it's a big difference between who we are and what we are. Who we are is the unique person that we are. What we are, it's a multiplication of millions of people who can do the same task I am doing.
Yes.
Yes.
In 2005, I had a major surgery. I had the staples on my stomach, and I couldn't even stand straight because the staples were crunching me. So I had to bend a little bit. And I had a priest serving for me for that Sunday because I couldn't stand for so many hours. I mean, 15 minutes standing was about the limit. So I sat there. The cover that I had for the holy gifts, he touched it so close to the incense, put a little burned mark on it. Okay. I thought the sermon was terrible, but in the end, the service was done. The people were served. Okay. The church was not closed because I had him replacing me.
Yes.
And that was when I realized someone else can do the service. I don't have to be here all the time. Now it's time for me to take care of myself. But I had to have that terrible experience.
Wow.
Then something that is so simple. Who we are is unique. Nobody can replace me with my own identity, with my own being. What I am doing, there are thousands of priests who can do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's important to know when we can do the things we like, or we think that nobody can do them, and when we need to relax, when we need to just enjoy life.
or come to me idea or a joke. Why me? Why not?
That is true. That is true. You know, that would be the short answer to why me.
Yes, yes.
Why not? Well, because you didn't take care of yourself. That's why.
Yes. Why not?
But it's the nature that we give sometimes values to the things that are not important.
Yes.
I forgot now who said this. It was a social study professor who did it, who coined it in his book. And then I've seen it circulating on the internet as a saying of Einstein. Einstein took it from the book of, I think it might have been Frankl, but I'm not sure. So it was not everything that. What is it? How is it? All things are important, but not all important things are useful, or something like this. So we can give a value to everything around us, but that doesn't mean because it's a valuable thing, it's an important thing for us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
A street light is a valuable thing, but it's not necessarily important to me.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't help me in other than passing that whatever 20 meters of the street which the light illumines. After that, you know, once I'm a half kilometer away from that light, the light is no longer valuable for me. It doesn't serve me anymore.
Yes.
How do you get rid of daily stress, or what do you do to enjoy in every day?
You know, one answer that I used to have to make a little joke with some of the doctors in the hospital was keep breathing. You know, it's I used to it's an interesting. I started about 3 or 4 years ago saying good morning to everyone. And I know if I say good morning to you in your part of the world is already night. It's probably 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. But I met, for instance, in a hospital, there are different people that walk either from medical staff or from visitors, and regardless of the time of the day, especially in the afternoon or late evening, I would say good morning, and they would answer good morning. Just maybe a few, maybe 2 or 3 caught the good morning in like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Say good morning, but most of them said good morning. One of them actually walked about 3 or 4 steps and turned around. Did you just say good morning? I said, yes, I said good morning. I said, you caught me. He was so preoccupied with whatever he was preoccupied. He didn't pay attention to what I said to him, but he replied without thinking. So again, the stress is not something that comes upon us. It's not like the clouds that hover over our head. What am I going to do? You know, even then you can move around. You don't have to stay under the clouds. The stress is something we bring on our own selves, with whatever we want to be preoccupied with. Either we want to avoid serious things about ourselves, and so we start preoccupying our minds or our daily thinking with things that are not important, are not related to me. Let's talk about Hurricane Katrina. I'm going to take this event, okay? I know it happened years ago. Oh my God, what are you going to do about this thing? Nothing. Just stay out of any hurricane. That's it. You know, what are you going to do about worry about things that you can handle. The moment you start preoccupying your life with things you cannot handle, you cannot do anything about it, the stress is going to be greater. Not because we are preoccupied with things we cannot handle. Okay, so the things that we can change, but we don't address them, are the things that bring the stress on us. And that stress is greater. And then we probably can looking for a refuge, and the refuge is in things that we cannot even touch, like Hurricane Katrina, or the monsoon season, or the earthquake somewhere. Those are waste of time. Instead of wasting our time with that, just look at what we can do for ourselves, from eating healthy to relationships that we need to have with our own family, with the people that we work with people around us, with what we can do for ourselves to better ourselves. Read a book, stop reading Facebook, posting, read a book. If you don't know what book to read, here's one. Yeah, 33 authors that share their life stories.
And we are there too.
Yes.
Thank you for opportunity.
Oh, it was my pleasure working with everybody. It was a great experience. It's not that easy. It's not that easy working with 33 people, and having to sometimes chop stories or ask them to rewrite here and there or make some changes. And keep track of everyone. But like I mentioned earlier, I had to give myself a date, make a date with my project, so I can make sure that I have everything. And I had a little calendar where I wrote things down, because otherwise I could lose track of everything. And I just wanted to be a little organized, exactly, to eliminate the stress, because if I leave things to happen whenever they happen, I find myself one day with so much to do, a pile of things, and then how do you sort them? Which one is the most important, and so forth. So it's an important thing to look to what is important and what is not so important, and sort them out.
Yes. Father Eugen, if you would have words microphone for a few minutes, what would you say to the world?
I love you.
Wow.
That's it.
Nice.
Nothing more. That's enough.
Nice.
How did you extend or expand your paradigms or belief to achieve to fulfill your dreams?
You can do it in many ways. You can have an army of people doing things for you, and you fulfill your dreams. You can do it with one or two people. For me, is getting better organized, mapping the plan that I need to have to know where I'm going, how I'm going, and what I need in the process. My belief in this is you cannot succeed if you're not putting the time to work on whatever you want to work. It is important to get yourself into that process of doing things and following things alone. You don't have to micromanage every single step unless you're doing things by yourself. But if you work with people, you need to keep up with everyone. Here's where we are. This is the next step. This is how are you doing. You especially, and there are a few things that you can do on yourself, by yourself or on your own. Let's say you make a scrambled eggs, omelette, right? You don't need 3 people in the kitchen to help you to make that. You can do it by yourself, right? But when you work on a bigger project, you need a partner. You need someone you trust. You need someone. Trust is not just trusting that we're going to work this together. Trust is when the partner turns around, you know, you could do this better, or maybe what about if we do this? Well, you know, a little bit of criticism, a little bit of just stop and think. Take a deep breath, and well, let's review this. The paradigm of life and faith is something that blends all the core values that you have, and all the knowledge and all the resources that you have, your own resources and the resources of others who can contribute to what you're doing. Otherwise, it's just, you know, it's a continuous struggle. It's a continuous struggle. So the paradigm moves into a direction where you guide it.
Yes.
You want things to go that way, but you cannot expect things to go on their own. You know, you have to guide that process. You have to not control it, but make sure that everything is in place, so you end where you want to be. Otherwise, you're all over. You know, it's I'm here, I'm there. It's like I've seen some of the older bicycles group. I mean, if you look at their bikes, are probably the most expensive bicycles you can buy on the market. If you look at their gears, are the most expensive gears they can put on them as they ride. But the funny thing about this, they stop at every other gas station because one of them needs to go to the bathroom. So a group of 10 or whatever retirees going on bicycling on the road, it's an interesting thing, but you have to keep in mind, you know, your time to get to where you want to get is going to be longer because you have to wait for everybody to go to the bathroom on the road. So when working with people, you have to take into consideration their nature, who they are, their feelings, and their way of working. You can have people who can work very fast and still do a good job, and you can have people who work a little slower, at a slower pace, but they still do a good job. You cannot force people to be the same. It's impossible. It's impossible. And for us growing under communism, we know that firsthand. You know, you couldn't have people being the same. And this is probably one of the biggest failure of communism, because they wanted to make everything be the same, and that is impossible. It's not the nature of human being. So the fate of doing something is for everyone to work at a certain pace with a map and be understanding and give the time to listen to everyone in the team.
Super.
Yes.
Father Eugen, how can people find you?
Well, I can be found very simple. My website is eugenrosu.com. The email is there if anybody wants to get hold of me, and it's an easy way to get hold of me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if anyone wants to reach me. That's the easy way.
Yes. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and was a pleasure.
Well, it was a pleasure for me, and a great opportunity to actually see you a little closer now.
Yes.
Both of you. And tell your friends that you know, to have faith. Emilian, I'm going to refer to you now. to your stories with the crazy crepes, clătitele nebune,
Yes.
or with your jump from the airplane with the parachute. The story is in here with the story is the crazy crepes and why not.
Wow,
Okay, why not? Let's do
Yes,
it.
yes.
nice.
So anyone who wants to read inspiring stories, this is a book that I only put together. I cannot claim that I wrote it. I know it's only my name written here, but the authors have their claim inside, and they are so beautiful. They are so beautiful. Allow me to read something.
Yes.
Two little things here. Okay, I got it. I have a poem, and the name of it, the title of it is God. God, if I lived another life, I would not miss a day to enjoy my childhood. I would not fall asleep without the angel's embrace of the face of a mother and her story in the evening. I would only grow and flourish for whom worth flowering. I would beg my heart not to beat hard at every flutter of the wing, of his wing, believing that it is love. Gestures will hurt it, words, silences, wounded, it will have no strength to love. I would command my eyes to build up tears of suffering, and I will gladly wash them with the joy from the faces of good people. To the hands, I would say to give comfort and lift the fallen one. I would ask my soul humility, for it is from here springs love, kindness, and the beginning of wisdom. Angelina Nadezhde. She's a
Wow,
poet.
amazing.
She lives in Iași, and she has published several poem volumes. Amazing.
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 And I have another story called A Mindset, and with this I'm done. A mindset. I was getting ready for the tennis match. It was my first time participating in a tennis tournament. Walking toward the tennis courts, a thought hit me. Will I win or will I lose? I asked my father if I could win. He replied that I could because I could do anything if I put my mind to it. When I was on the tennis court, I saw my opponent and remembered what my father had said to me. I got ready, left and right. I hit the ball and I won the last match. Then the coach pulled us for the final score. Sadly, I did not win the tournament, but I ended up winning second place. I learned from that event that never lose hope and always try your best. You never know what you can do until you go out and do it. Ana Maria Rosu.
Wow,
Wow,
amazing.
Yes,
Super. Super.
This is the book,
yes,
Yes.
yes.
and this is I
Excellent.
had to come up with the cover to match what my daughter Ana Maria said to me, how the stories are. She was talking with someone on the phone, trying to convince her to write a story, and this is an adult person that she was talking. She said the story is about vibes coming from the writer's heart to the reader's heart. So this is what we have, the heart headed
Oh,
by
Wow,
one another.
excellent.
amazing.
Well, I thank you for this opportunity, for the
Thank you
interview,
too.
and for presenting the book to your audience. And again, I can be reached at eugenrosu.com. And if you need me again for another interview at some other time,
Yes, why
in the
not?
next book or some other topic, I'll be more than happy to be part of your endeavor. And good luck with that book.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't make it perfect. Just get it out.
Okay. Yes, you
Yes,
have
yes.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night into your world.